Hey everybody, I'm an herbalist trying to live without being beholden to the medical profession and doctors and big pharma and all that kind of stuff. So I've been putting these recipes on here of foods that taste delicious but are healthier than our normal way of eating them. Today's recipe is Dutch babies or German pancakes, whichever term you want to use, but made with turmeric added to the cinnamon and equal parts white flour and flaxseed, ground flaxseed. You guys, oh, and double the apples with the peels on. That's the key. You can watch the recipe, see how it's done, but I'm telling you, I'm just trying to emphasize this, hoping to be able to get more views, hoping this gets shared. What you put in your mouth is what determines if you need a doctor or not. It's not what diseases are around you. Flus, colds, no matter what it is. Every time there are major diseases, there are people who stay well. There are people who don't catch it. Always. I don't care what kind of thing comes out. And there are some people who get really, really sick, really, really sensitive to everything. And then there are other people who manage to live through almost anything. What's the difference? It's what you put in your mouth. Or what you don't put in your mouth. The choices you make. So, try this recipe and see if you go to the bathroom more. That means you have less toxins in your system. If your circulation's better, that means you can have a better intimate life with a partner. And if you crave less sugar because of the peels of the apple and stuff like that, I'm sorry, you know, giving you all those minerals. I would definitely use whole grain flour if I made this again. And still I would add the flaxseed to it because flaxseed, I know it has some omega in it, and it has them in proportions that are really good for you to clear out your arteries. Essentially, flaxseed clears out old age from your arteries, so you're lubed up, which makes your inside body 10 years younger over time. So if you're 70, your inside body will be 60. If you're 50, your inside body will be 40. You know, and you just keep on piling that stuff up. The goal of all herbalists is for your inside body to be about 16 years old. Just fresh and new and beautiful. And infinite possibilities. So, now you know the goal. Cook and eat. Our ingredients, about a 3/4 cup of flaxseed oil. We have 3/4 cup of flour. We have about 1.5 large apples. We have 4 small eggs, or you could use 1. You could use 3 large eggs. And then we have a tablespoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of turmeric. Melting 2 tablespoons of butter in this pan. It doesn't matter if it melts all the way or not, you know, as long as it's soft. Take your apples and put them in your brown butter here. And you just let that saute for a minute on high. My fork here and kind of blend her around. Then you add your spices. In this case, we're using cinnamon and turmeric. I'm using a lot. If you were just cooking this for flavor, you would do some things differently. Like my apples have the skin on them because this is for my health. I'm using a lot of cinnamon to regulate the blood sugar, and turmeric for anti-inflammatory properties. Not that much turmeric, but it's a good start there. And I am not worrying about cooking these apples until they are fully softened, which would be the traditional way of cooking apples in a dessert. We have flaxseed oil, flaxseed actually, it's fresh, and white flour. I would have used half as much flaxseed if I had brown flour, but I don't, so I am making my flour into a whole grain. And you can see it now looks kind of like a whole grain. And dairy to that, this is milk. There's a little bit of the flaxseed and the flour that were still in the cup with the milk. But this is low-fat milk. Now here's the trick to these popping, I've been told. You gotta have a lot of eggs, and those eggs have to be at room temperature. I've removed that one apple. I'm sorry, the apples that I sauteed, and I had to add a tablespoon of butter back because you want it to look like that, nice and caramelized. I've removed our mixture because this is for more than one Dutch baby, and I'm just gonna put about half of it back in there and just kind of whip it a little bit here. Normally people try to get all the lumps out. Because I have apples in mine, I don't really care. And these are 2 eggs. Mix that up. See what we get. Because you want this batter to be kind of liquid so that it can pop. Okay, I think I need the balance of the eggs. This is nice, but it's not good enough. Okay, I added about 1/4 cup of milk to this because it needs to be kind of liquidy like that. And I'm going to add these 2 small eggs. This is really the equivalent of 2. These eggs are like half a size. I guess because of the yolk, it might be like 2, and it might be like 3 what I consider large eggs, but definitely not the extra large that I would want to have. So keep that in mind. If you're getting your eggs at the grocery store, they don't hardly sell large eggs anymore. So if you got old recipes, those eggs were almost the size of turkey eggs. These little eggs we have, it's a whole different world. I mean, if you have a farmer and you can get some good eggs, that's different. But you have to use more eggs for your recipe to come out where it's a popover or a Dutch baby or a German pancake. Just keep that in mind. My pan has been heating over a low temperature, and as you can see, while I've been mixing the other ingredients, it's gone in there. So we're good there. We are ready to put her in the oven. So I put the fire on low to try to keep the pan hot. And in order to have the fiber, I used a lot of apple. If you use most recipes, they use white flour. They do not use turmeric. And they don't use this much cinnamon either. And people take the peels off the apple. But if you want to eat to live, you got to let go of housewife kind of things. These housewives were getting rid of their husbands at 45 years old due to heart attack, you know, and they were very happy widows afterwards, you know, with all that good retirement from those wealthy men in the 50s in the industrial era. Well, now those same habits are killing off their kids and grandkids. So you got to make some changes, guys. You got to make some changes. Let me see. Delicious. No sugar. Not even a teaspoon of sugar. We'll use, oh, that's cinnamon. Now this is gonna be underneath the pancake. So good. Just like that. Now we're gonna add the pancake batter. Shove this bad boy in there. Okay. So here we go. This, see how thin the batter is? It's kind of moving the apples around, but trust me, as it cooks, the batter will pop up on top of the apples, and the apples will be in the bottom of your pancake, just adding all that goodness and deliciousness to it. I'm so excited. Okay, we're gonna stick it in. I just want you to see. You see that little bit of oil coming off the apples and everything and going into the pancake? You need that so that your pancake's not tough. So if you think I'll make this without oil, that would be a crap. Our last little trick, this is not normally done. The oven was preheated to 350. Now I'm gonna turn it up to 425 so that that heat rising while this is cooking will make it rise faster. You do this with a cake too, but with a cake you do wait until the last 10 or 15 minutes cooking, but since this only takes 10 or 15 minutes, doing it. See that bad boy? See all that? Go in there looking good. You could stop and eat this like this, but I'm not going to do that. See, it's got a good ½ inch of pop on there. I'm going to cook it until it is a custardy consistency. So she's popped. We've been doing our 20 minutes here. Gonna turn this bad boy down to, when you start cooking those recipes from colder countries like Dutch and German, those women are workhorses in the kitchen. They don't just stick something in the oven. I don't know how they did this with wood burning stoves, if they did it. But that's what we're gonna do for another 10 minutes. Can't wait any longer. It popped up a little bit more in the oven. Oh, looks so good. I'm so hungry. So cinnamon, turmeric, apple, Dutch baby. Oh yeah. She looks good. She looks good. And she's, look at it, slices like butter. Ah, so delicious. This will fall, guys, as you're eating it. It doesn't stay popped up. Show you that light airiness in there, yes. And here we are here. And I'm just, you don't add butter, but I am going to add some raspberry syrup. Delicious. You get these local artisans there, props, creators of specialty foods since 1991. You go. This is some good stuff here. Yeah. You use what you can get locally. Alrighty, so I tasted this, and normally I don't do taste tests on camera. I'm trying to do it some, but you guys, look at all that apple and cinnamon and syrup. And this is not falling. So I think because I have all that flaxseed in there, it's staying puffy. It dances in your mouth because it's real airy and good, you guys. Normally I use whole grain flour. So I added 1 part white flour, 1 part flaxseed because I accidentally picked up white flour, you know, in the grocery store trying to hurry. This is delicious. I guess if you don't have raspberry syrup, use maple syrup. I don't think fake syrup is gonna do this justice, you know, because this tastes so good. Jesus loves you, and I love you with all the Jesus in me. Be blessed, beautiful.